In this story, I'm going to cover another Babylonian artifact that has a piece on it broken and was never ever reconstructed. I'm questioning, was it purposely broken to hide the story of three sons, or did it just have little interest? It's a stupid story about belief in giants. I don't think the giant thing is real. It's just showing that an important king, they're shown big to be important. That's all it is. Or he's standing more in the forefront, they're more in the background. But this is called the artifact, Arcadian Victory Stela of Narim Sin in the Louvre in Paris. Was the artwork intentionally damaged to hide an elite society's secret? Let's reconstruct this very important artifact. People that are climbing up a very, very large mound, perhaps this is the background of the mound, and they are looking up at the sky at what's missing. Let's rebuild it. So this is the person that found it. Was he a member of a special elite society where they either damaged it or tried to hide its meaning? That is the question that remains. Now, what we have in this artifact, if you look very closely, are the remains of a bit of a pointy part and a square part, which is just like the bottom part here. We have flat parts and pointy parts, okay? See there? Those little pieces mean it is exactly a match. So we can reconstruct it. Okay, so let's put these pieces, missing pieces of the puzzle back digitally. Okay, now watch very closely. That's very, very accurate reconstruction, matching every little piece, okay? Now we have something that matches the Genesis stela of three suns. In my discovery that these are three suns, it's not the sun, the moon, and Venus. It's near the Pleiades, it's tied in with a cosmic serpent, and it's above this. What is this mound? Here's my decoded Genesis stela. It's a match in that case. And we have all the other ancient records of these three suns, Pleiades. Here's Orion's belt. In this position, they're only showing the king's crown with the sun-like star and the most important one, and its exoplanet. Here again, showing the cosmic womb opening in three orbs. Is it three suns? I'm not sure about that one. I think that one's actually a comet, and he's on the back of the bull. And there are many others. This three sun-like story is quite likely. Now I'm showing a little bit more. Notice, let's just take it back a second. There's a bit of space here. And by the way, I've gone to the exact same edge of what scholars say it once had. There's a little bit of space here, and you've got this perfect equilateral triangle. That's probably not a coincidence either. So I put in the Pleiades to match all those seals that you've just seen. The Pleiades was comet, so it most likely had the Pleiades, and I think this is in support of the theory that it was purposely damaged. Right, so this is the deity of Taurus, in my opinion, because he's got the bull crown. Okay, we have a celestial monument. Hang on a sec. In my previous video on the ziggurats and on that new star map that I've decoded, shows a monument for Babylon. These are monuments, most likely. Was it a beam of light? The jury is still out on this one. Let's try and decode that. So we're showing those three suns in the Pleiades, okay, in that position. Let's just turn it around to match how I showed in my documentary. Pleiades, leg of the bull shape. These three sun-like stars are real. The Hubble telescope shows them, but this one has moved from there to here. And the Tikal star map I showed in my first book in 2002 matches the Pleiades. Most important temple being that one. There's an extra temple here, and there's another tiny one here matching that. This is real. This is my star map theory from 2002 for Tikal of the Maya. The Mars one is the most accurate of all. The correlations here are mind-blowing, and there's the face saying human life from the star, but then there's the human code that fits in that one to match that one, saying we evolved from apes here, colonized the star system, and the people that came from here to our Earth celebrate that one as their place. They were the people that were in exoplanets around that one, in my opinion. It helped lead me to find the story of Atlantis, looking in the Atlantic Ocean, finding that on the ocean bed, and finding ground zero, remains of two circular canals. Part of my Atlantis story for that group of stars that are real. Okay, now let's get back to our little star map, okay? It shows it in that position, so the Pleiades are just shown in different sort of position. Let's turn it around. So we have that. I believe that's the correlation. Okay, let's look a little bit closer here. Oh, there is the match with the Freemason star map. Now, please, this is a theory of mine. Nothing more than that. We'll know in a long time if it's real or not, because I take this into great detail. You measure 33 degrees of arc on the horizon. Coincidence in arc distance from there to that sun-like star. There is that line. Is 33 degrees of arc. 3 pillars on the ground, as above, so below. There's a grail in here, okay, with those 3 suns matching. Here's the picture with the close-up with the grail. The grail, I've said, is also a star map celebrating the birthing of the sun disk from the 3 suns, the chalice, the sacred feminine pointing down, and the sacred masculine pointing up as Orion's belt, the male anatomy of the Egyptian theory that it was Geb on the ground, that's his male anatomy pointing to the heavens, and the birthing of Solomon in the birthing position, if that is a womb. Confirming that. By the way, 3 other symbols here that I've decoded in my 2-hour documentary, all for Orion's belt. The Europa star map, 1, 2, just like the Sumerian, see they show it differently, one with an exoplanet, 7 stars, and a very big one with a door in it, where Abraham steps out in the most bizarre fashion, where he's pulled his arms out of his sleeves, made his arms cross, with his sleeves crossed. Now to do that, you've got to go to great effort to get your sleeves to look like that. And I believe he's showing the secret of the double cross of Orion. Orion is made up out of 2 crosses intersecting, like that, and that's his secret. So again, 3 suns, with the portal from the most important one. The Egyptian artifact showing the Stargate, the initiate coming out of a lotus flower that's opening. The cosmic serpents are tied in with temples opening. And this artifact is pretty much like the Ankh, because they've got the little Shen symbols with serpents coming out of them to the 3 suns. And this is what it looks like when you look down on the, the lotus flower, symbolic of the opening conduit, and then Tutankhamun's name in it. He was one of the gatekeepers of the Tower Cross. Ancient aliens, the connection between these deities, they made it to try and, in my opinion, teach about the people that look after life on this earth. Little android grey aliens. The triptych, a large portal, 2 smaller portals behind the Christ in this position. These triptych symbols that you'll find in holy places all around the world. Ancient Egypt, the Incas, Paris. That, in my opinion, celebrates 3 portals to 3 sun-like stars. Those 3 sun-like stars. There's been a recent development on the story of ancient Babylon and the Tower of Babel. There's been a lot of speculation where this Tower of Babel is, and there's another piece of the puzzle that proves not just the Tower of Babel, but its Egyptian connections from its design and how it fits in relationship to Babylon. Right, so what we have here is Babylon. Saddam Hussein has rebuilt these 3 ziggurats to be mounds. Sadly, recently I found that these building of the structures around here were building reconstructions. They were not ziggurats. There's nothing ziggurat anything about China. We need ziggurat ruins to put a star map together. So I always thought this was the Pleiades. But we need to look at a new contention, the area where the waterway makes this beautiful lake next to this monument here, because it's quite likely it had one definite island, that there was another 6 to go with it. And I'm proposing that this is why they chose this for the Pleiades. It's got this blue water. The Pleiades has a blue light around it. It's a perfect way to show, like in the Nile representing the Milky Way. It's quite likely that because the cosmos has all this H2O gas that makes the Milky Way, that the nebulas as well have a huge amount of water content. So the Pleiades Nebula is surrounded by water. It follows reasoning and logic. So let's take that into account. So what we have here is my star map. Right, so having a look at that star map. Now, What's important with this story is the story of Borsippa. As I said in the first part of this three-part series on the secrets of Babylon, Borsippa is where they have this amazing ruin of a ziggurat. Now, scholars have said because of the strange inner core that you see right here, it is made of fired brick and not just mud brick. So it's solid. Let's call it like we have in modern days today, an internal core structure, as if it was made to hold something a lot more than just a normal ziggurat. So I would agree with scholars for that reason alone, but I'm going to add two more reasons why we believe this was once the Tower of Babel. There it is right there. That's the position of Babylon. And why would it be positioned here? There are no other ziggurats around here. So this is the nearest, biggest and largest ziggurat near Babylon. So, as I said earlier, my Genesis artifact that explains the star map and origins of humanity coming from one of these three sun-like stars, lands on Earth, found the Earth, three temples on the ground to match the three suns in the heavens. And that was found at Borsippa. Right, so we have a story about the tower right over here. I'm not sure if any of these represent the tower, but that definitely with the active serpent, but that jury is still out. We don't know about that one. But then the next artifact that we found near it was actually another star map, which I've shown in my part 1, which you can go back and see if you haven't seen it. But there's now a third one. The rebuild of this artifact. This part was completely damaged and it was put together exactly as you see here. Question is, what mound is this? Is this the Tower of Babel? That is the question. We're going to try and prove or disprove it. So let's start with that area of ruin, and I think it was that. And I'm going to show you why I think it was 7 tiers and how it has this weird shape that matches that artifact because of an Egyptian story. This is the Tower of Babel at Borsippa, and I'll show you why. There's an ancient text that was found in another little artifact that was found in Borsippa that a scholar insisted that the tower had 7 tiers. So that's why you see it with 7 tiers here, reaching up to the rounded part at the top, and it was definitely, in my opinion, like that. I'll show you the reasoning behind it. To reach the place of 7 stars. 7 tiers might also represent that it's 7 layers to make 7 stars to complete what is in the heavens. But remember now, this is Babylon in the distance. Okay, think about it now two-dimensionally on the ground. And if that area that I've just spoken about was the Pleiades, it's in this sort of orientation, and we have that on the artifact, we have a breakthrough. It's the Egyptian story of Geb fertilizing Nut, the heavens, the earth god Geb, shown green. That's his male anatomy where they built this obelisk in Egypt. That is part of the earth. It's the earth obelisk, phallic symbol that fertilizes the rising stars in the heavens. Like that. So they built this monument, which is the X that marks the spot next to the pyramids of Abusur that match the Pleiades correlation you'll see in my star map, Egypt. And of course the Grail, same thing, the male anatomy, this bottom part, the womb, the chalice, the blade and the chalice, okay, is 3 sun-like stars making the chalice up there, right? And then it's Orion fertilizing Nut, and of course it births the host, the celebration of the bloodline. I think in Sumer they have the same story, where this is the part that represents the human-earth connection, the earth fertilizing the heavens, so to speak. And of course Orion's belt. Now imagine if you climbed on top of this in Borsippa in ancient times, what would that person see at night especially? There is the big breakthrough. On the horizon, in the distance, he will see Babylon, 3 big ziggurats, as that which mirrors the heavens, as above, so below. That is a big breakthrough, in my opinion, to prove that Borsippa ruin was once the Tower of Babel. just like that. Going through the Egyptian symbology, there's the Nut womb being fertilized, so to speak, and all obelisks represent the sun beam of light from the coming down to earth from the sun star. So the obelisks represent suns, and in this case Orion's belt with the largest one. As you've seen in my 2-hour documentary, which follows at the end of this video, the beam of light from a star in the Egyptian Senmot tomb. Then there's the blazing star on the first degree tracing board, beam of light from a 7-ray sun-like star, in my opinion. And of course the Hebrew Key of Solomon parchment, a star with 4 little orbs around it, beam of light down to the earth. The Grail, as I'll show you, the male anatomy, the female womb made from 3 sun-like stars, celebrating the birth of the sun host for the bloodline of humanity. And it's happening here on Earth in the United States. We all know the largest obelisk ever built on the planet is the Washington Monument. People go there to celebrate the Christmas tree and the star on top of it. Very few realize that the two basically represent exactly the same thing as you see in the Egyptian tomb. Sun-like star, beam of light down to earth. Gods all populate the earth. But there's also Stonehenge here. Here's the 3 up close, okay? Stonehenge strangely has 4 little mounds. It has the human code, 5-pointed star, and the causeway, very much like the Solomon Key with those 4 little orbs, which I believe represent 4 exoplanets around the sun-like star. And here it is measuring from the Lincoln Memorial over the watery pond, water holding area. It reflects that which is in the sky, and you can measure 33 degrees of arc from Orion's belt to find that sun-like star. And I believe all of this represents the origin of the Yule tree. This is celebrating Human Origins Day. That's just my opinion, and scholars in time will be able to say if it's more than just a theory. You can read what I've written here, press pause, because it's basically a very important secret. That's what Washington looks like from above. We have the area of Roslyn and Arlington making, coincidentally, the leg of the bull shape. The buildings even illuminate at night, very close to the star positions. Here is the Washington Monument obelisk, and here is the Pentagon with what I believe is a north pointer. It's almost like showing it's a map of sorts, and that's how it represents, in my opinion, the star map. And this is what is on Mars, exactly the same 5-sided monument with a north pointer, and on Mars, strangely enough, it makes that shape on Mars. Just like you see at the Pentagon. Is that a coincidence? You can decide, but there's the X that marks the spot on the Mars star map. See it in the 2-hour documentary. Look at the correlations when you take a photograph of the Pleiades and the positions of the monuments. Even these small little bits that you see around here, they all have correlating stars. What are the odds on that? To match that. And speaking about the leg of the bull, this is the Ritmeyer archaeological rebuild of the old wall of what was around the city of David, making, in my opinion, the shape of the leg of the bull, because the hill of Caiaphas' palace, where Christ was judged, I think, where Caiaphas proclaimed that he was not a Messiah. It is just like the Egyptian exit marks the spot with the obelisk with the gold capped capstone. Just like the Tower of Babel, in my opinion. Just a theory. And of course the Hill of Sion also matches with another sun-like star. It's quite sad that all of this is causing discomfort, and one civilization believes they're better than the other, some chosen by God and some not. Now, that's another ancient painting. Not that ancient, to be quite honest. It's shows, in my opinion, Pleiades and 3 suns. But they've drawn it in a very weird way, because it's the famous painting in the Florence Cathedral by Domenico di Michelino, and a man with important knowledge showing pictographically what's in the background here. Large, big hill with people running around it, okay, an angel interacting with a gate system inside it, which in my opinion is a Stargate, and then they show the Stargate here with a bull-crowned green entity. Green, okay, really? Why does that look so familiar? Bull-headed crown deity, okay, match. A mound with people all around the bottom. Remember, the whole artifact has a lot of people climbing it. I believe you've got a match here. The star map in the heavens. Coincidence? Maybe not. For that artifact, look at all the people climbing up it. Same thing. This, I believe, now is that mound, an ancient mound to teach about the origins of male and female. In my opinion, this is secret knowledge of a very advanced society, scared to talk about it in the past, and that's why they remained hidden. Esoteric manuscripts with dragons too that have been cut off, two cosmic conduits choked, and this one's laughing, smiling with a cross beneath it. That's John Dee's monad. That's decoding John Dee's monad. And the beaks, the ability to have control. Bent beak, bewildered beak, and a very developed beak that has control over dominion of the cosmic conduits. Nostradamus says it too. Orion's belt, the initiate, burnt, being tortured and hidden. The secret has been tortured in history. There's the cosmic circuit's tail that's coming alight with the cluster of Pleiades and the exoplanet and Orion cross secret. The papal records of 3 orbs, the eagle finding civilization, the wreath represents, in my opinion, the cosmic conduit, and we have the 3 kings of the Pope with 2 crosses, one about the origins of spirit, one about the origins of the bloodline, in my opinion. Take it with a pinch of salt. Showing that, as above, so below. In my 2-hour documentary, I'll take this all in a new direction. What I stand for is equality in every human being. People who are given the gift of life to make what they can out of it and be rewarded in the afterlife according to how they live. Let's just hope this wakes people up. When you think of Christmas, giving gifts, there's a part of the story now that you're going to see, part 3, the star map of St. Nicholas, aka Santa Claus. He was the closest thing ever since the Christ to walk the earth, to teach about the 3 sun-like stars and his secret of his 3 golden orbs. He has an exact star map made in remembrance of him, and you're going to see that follows.
With the earlier Sumerian clay tablets' precise version of the cosmic human origin star map, and how it matched the template at Stonehenge, would come the mindset that had Herschel set out to search the Atlantic Ocean seabed. It would be this clue that would culminate in this documentary's biggest revelation.
As the world was counting down to 2012, I was watching Google Earth, looking for ruins, refreshed my page, and I saw that. I recognized that curvature from somewhere. This could be a computer code. I think it's first contact. The ancients are returning. I've published a book, Herschel's Atlantis, and there's a 2-hour documentary you'll see at the end of the video. These are my 3 books. I'm trying to promote Saving Forests, $19 for all 3, 1 delivery. Please consider becoming a flame keeper in the here and now, or when you are gone, or as an activist. Please press pause and come back to this and you'll see the detail. But as a flame keeper, you become part of the quest to secure the interpretational copyright and visibility of the hidden records. That is the difference.